Good morning, fellow Pachinkoites. Actually, I don't really think that's a word, but just kind of sounded like a neat way to start things off. This is Dan from Magic Pachinko Restorations with another short video on a vintage Pachinko machine. Keep hitting that subscribe button, keep hitting the like button, so on and so forth. Keep the questions coming. I love to talk to people about Pachinkos. Visit magicpachinkorestorations.com. So this particular machine is a Nishijin Model B. Certainly one of the more typical Pachinko machines that are out there. This one was done on a full restore for a collector down in Florida. So this is the original Playfield. You can see up in here there's no color left at all. On these, they just fade terribly, and this really is a very pretty background. It's called Ducks. Interesting story about that. I don't know that it's really called Ducks by, certainly it's probably not called Ducks by Nishijin. I have a very good friend of mine who does restorations on Pachinkos. I've learned a lot from him. His name is Bill Cardwell. He's out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And he is the supplier of the new Playfields. So I go to his website, I look them up, and this one is called Ducks. So one day I got kind of interested, and I said to Bill, how do you know this is called Ducks? Is there a catalog from Nishijin? Is there a list of the different Playfields, so on and so forth? And keep in mind, this is a guy that I really had a lot of, I knew he knew a lot, so I was ready for a good answer. And he said, no, I just make them up. A little disappointing, Bill, but it's okay. So this is Ducks. Most of the names he comes up with are pretty cool. So full restoration, obviously new Playfield. Everything gets taken off, everything gets dealt with, cleaned, so on and so forth. Got the stabilization feet on, redo the beautiful red mahogany wood of the back, or the frames. I also make sure the wiring is good. This particular machine had been rewired by a previous owner, and unfortunately I find that most people don't do a good job when they try to rewire stuff, especially with soldering. Soldering is kind of a skill, and but at any rate, I redid a lot of the wiring, put new wiring in, new switch, so on and so forth. Got it working good. So with all my restorations now, I provide the 12-volt wall transformer. So we'll just plug this in, and when you do plug that in, the ball out light will come on. It's controlled by this switch right here. And right now this is well, tipped down. This arm pushes the two leaves together, turns the light on. When enough Pachinko balls go into the machine, this will lift up and it will turn that light off. So that's very typical. The other lights on the machine, there's two lights over here controlled by this leaf switch, and they come on momentarily when a jackpot is made. Okay, yep, let me get my arm out of the way. There they are. Okay, so first things first, when you go to set this up, make sure that your ball dump latch is secure. I will use a red marker pen to identify this portion of the latch and this portion here. There's actually an arrow there pointing this way. You want to make sure that during shipping, if this gets bumped, you want to make sure that that is over and secure. That way the balls will fill the tray, go down the runs, and into the jackpot chamber rather than coming down the exit chute and exiting the machine and going all over the floor. So make sure that this is secure. And then over here, this particular machine doesn't have the seesaw cover, but it's not a big deal. It's just for protection, keep dust out, so on and so forth. It's not a functional cover. But you do get a good look at the seesaw. It's this white piece of plastic here. It's tipped on an angle this way. It should be tipped up this way. That's the way that the machine is got to be to pay out. So again, red arrow, there's a little rod right here. You just push up and it pushes up on the seesaw, gets it in the proper position. So what will happen is a winning ball comes through the machine, goes down a ramp, enters the front of the seesaw tips, lets the ball out. It'll go down this clear chute here, catch the end of the jackpot arm. The jackpot arm goes down, opens the jackpot, lets the balls out. The ball gets down to about here, then this lifts up, and the winning ball will exit, and the whole machine will then reset itself like that. Okay, so you do need something here similar to this. This is a catch tray that's wide enough to go between here and here. This is where the losing balls drop out. This is where the winning balls drop out. So you put something like that and you're all set. So to get the machine set up, you should have 250, 300 balls minimum. One of the biggest questions that I get from customers is how many pachinko balls should I have? And the answer is as many as you can afford. These machines will easily handle almost 800 to 1,000 pachinko balls. So the more you have, the better. Always start out with just a handful so that they run down and go into the jackpot chamber. Again, it's just making sure this is latched. If it's not, then again, the balls are going to fall out. And you don't want to dump a whole bunch because it's hard to stop them once they get going. So now that we know this is all set up properly, we can go ahead and dump. I think this tray holds about 300 or more. So you want 275 of them right here so that it fills the machine. All of the counter balances and things are in the proper position to make the machine functional. That's very critical with a pachinko machine. As this starts to empty out, things change, and then your machine starts to do weird things and doesn't work. So make sure you've got plenty of clean, not rusty, pachinko balls. So now that it's all set up, we'll turn it around. Put the rest in the feed tray. Now, when you're setting your machine up for the first time and you go to launch a ball, nothing happens. It takes one cycle of the launch mechanism to get a ball onto the launch ramp. Oh, what's going on here? Time out. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay, so inside the launch mechanism, there's a little plastic piece. There's actually two plastic pieces that interact with each other. So when you push down on the launch lever, it pushes down on this plastic piece and allows a ball to go into the launch ramp. And sometimes when you open and close this, they don't line up quite right. So I've got that lined up now. Everything is fine, and it'll start to launch balls. So when the tulips are open, they're a much bigger target than they are when they're closed, so it's easier to get them in. When the balls go in here through the center attraction, it'll open the tulips. It'll open the tulips when they drop into the pay pockets also. So ideally, when you play pachinko, you want to launch the balls so that they get up into this area and then start to drop. If you launch them too hard, they're going to bounce off the bumper. If you launch them too softly, they're going to stay on this side, which is okay if you want to try to get to this tulip. But if the tulips aren't open, you want to try to launch the balls so they drop down through the center attractions. So this is kind of a cool center attraction, and this will turn if you drop a ball down through here. It flips over. I repainted this in this area. These were pretty much nondescript when I got the machine. I repainted the background and then cleaned the paint off the relief surface and then put the silver back on. They came out really nice. So this is Ducks. Hope you like it, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time.